Hello, everybody. Well, what I have here is something in my hands. Can you tell what this is by just looking at it? Well, you see the earbuds, so you probably guess, well, you see Sony. Yeah, that's right. It's a radio. It's a clear radio. And where would a person use this clear radio at? Well, that's right. This is actually a radio they have in prisons. And this was known at the time as the prison iPod because this is how popular this particular radio was. It went for about $30 back in the time period, and I found an article like back in 2014, and and they were saying it's been around since like 15 years, so like maybe even like 2000. The year 2000 or even 1999, they might have been making these things. And this was really prized after for various reasons, and I'll kind of get into it. These are usually go for, $40, $50 sometimes on eBay. I saw this for $10. It's missing the back plate, and it's missing the belt holder. And I thought, well, it's going to be cool. And they said it was untested. And I'm thinking, these things were supposed to last forever. And so I thought, I'll spend $10 and get this thing. And it does work. It actually does work. I'll turn it on right now. Got a battery in there. And you probably can hear the hiss going on right now. So it does work. I actually used this today when I went to go run, just because I wanted to try it out. And supposedly this device here, one thing, it runs on one AA battery, and supposedly up to 40 hours. Now, I'm looking at the specs right here. It says if you're using an alkaline size battery, approximately 110 hours of radio time. And so, that's a lot of time that you can have to listen to music and whatnot. And it has the FM and the AM bands. And also, it has over here one of the other buttons. It has AM, FM. And then one of them says local, FM sensor, local, or DX. And the DX is for distance. And so this is an analog radio. And so like a lot of the radios that are out now are digital. They actually use maybe a little bit more electricity. But also you can't like fine tune just to get that one station that's far off, but you can sort of get it. One thing about analog, you can still, if it's like 85% there, you probably can listen to it. Digital is all or nothing. Either the station is there or not. And so before they went to digital TV, I could pick up a lot more stations. Might be a little bit snowy, a little bit fuzzy, but I can still watch the stations. There's a couple. There's one TV station in town I can't even pick up at all with anything that I do with the antennas because of where I'm living at and whatnot. But back in the analog days, I could pick that station up. So with this here, you can pick up radio stations from long distances. And also, the way this thing is made, if you think about prison, there's a lot of metal, a lot of concrete, a lot of interference going on. And supposedly these radios were made very well to be able to do that. And one of the reasons why is because it had this ability. It's called a single conversion receiver and a single chip radio transceiver. And that allows it to be able to pick up radio stations a lot further away. You can see in here, because it is clear, there's the AM antenna. The antenna for FM is the headphones or headphones jack, so earbuds or headphones. And these aren't the original headphones. These are just headphones that I had lying around. And it's kind of cool. You see that little orange, how it works like that. It's kind of cool. You can see the little, chips in here and the soldering in here and everything like that. All these capacitors and whatnot in there. So all these really cool things that I don't understand, but are really cool. And I remember taking apart my transistor radio back in the day and seeing a lot of these parts, but this is definitely a lot smaller. And there's also not a button to let you know if it's on or off, like a little light. And one thing, that would probably distract you at night or whatever. And also it uses more electricity. So this being a single chip allowed it to take a lot less electricity. And of course, it doesn't have a speaker, so it's not putting out volume, so it's going to take up less battery life as well. So this is, a really fantastic one. They made a civilian model of this. That's just the SRF-39, and if you see the FB on it, it stands for federal prisons. So this would have been something someone would have bought on there. And when the iPod first came out, 40 hours, that's a lot longer charging time than the iPod had. So, and if you think about, if you're in prison, you just don't have a lot of money. So every battery you could not buy meant that you could, buy something else with or didn't have to spend. So it was just fantastic radio at the time. I think now they've gone to, or they went from cassettes to CDs, and now they have MP3 players, and I think they even have little tablets now that you can buy. And I think I read it was like $2 a song. So that would definitely cost a lot of money to have your tablet full of songs and whatnot like that. And I guess they're going to etch in your prison number and whatnot. That way, if it gets stolen, you can tell, hey, that's my box there and everything. So yeah, I can tell there was some use of a rubber band, and because this thing is kind of splitting a little bit because the battery, how the batteries, there's a little spring in there basically that's holding it together, keeping the connections together for the electricity. So I'm sure whoever had this either lost this or whatever, and had to use it without the case cover and whatnot. So yeah, I'm very happy to have this thing. I'll use this thing to work out with, and basically I need a radio for when the world falls apart. I can still listen to what's going on. Yeah, it's really interesting to see this. I'm going to try to get my hands on a civilian version of this and see if it works as good. I'm going to guess they're exactly the same, except for this has a clear, you can see the insides of this pretty easily, of course. And the civilian models is going to be a typical, black plastic case and whatnot. So pretty interesting piece of history here. I'm not sure if any prisoners still use this. I'm going to guess probably yeah, because you can still listen to radio. At some point, getting local news and getting weather and those type of things would be interesting to listen to if you're incarcerated, and as well as music. And it was actually kind of fun running around listening to music that I didn't have control over. And it's like, that's a song I haven't heard in a while. Put it on the rock station, of course, and I was playing around with AM radio as well. And I could pick up a lot of stations outside, and so pretty fascinating. So as always, rock and roll, of course, it does compute. If you like this type of amazing content, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, because that would totally compute. Where else are you going to learn about a clear radio that was once in a prison? I don't think anywhere else computed.